will be joining me. Yep, and we are recording this. This will be posted to the Arizona Memory Project site. So if you miss anything or have to get up and leave or you feel like you missed something, you can always go back and listen to the recording later. And also there will be slides provided. And I'll actually show you as we go through this how to find those. So first of all, here's the homepage for the Arizona Memory Project. What we're going to be going over today is resources for teachers. So school is starting up again. And so we wanted to show off in different ways that the Arizona Memory Project can help teachers find resources for their students. So that's what we'll be focusing on today. So first of all, we'll just mention that the Arizona Memory Project is free for all users. So as long as you have internet access, if the students have their own laptops, any computers they have from home, any computers they use in the library, anything like that, all you need is the URL. So that'll get you to the homepage there, easymemory.azlibrary.gov. So as long as the students can get to the internet, they can get to the site. One thing I do want to point out, because this will be helpful as you start compiling resources for students or for students to find their own resources, you are able to create a member account. So if you're not logged in by default, it'll say login or welcome guest over here. If you haven't created one already, then you'll go to the register now, just put in a username, email address, click register, and then that Brandy or myself will approve that, and then basically just check the same email address that you entered for a temporary password, which you can then keep the same, or you can update it. We don't see your password, we don't know what it is, so you can keep it the same, but you can also change it to whatever you'd like. So I'm going to log in as me. So you won't see this admin thing, but you will see a my collection and a my profile. My profile is where you can update any of your profile settings, and then my collection is where you can bookmark things, and I'll get through that. We'll go through that and I'll show you what you can do. So first thing I'll just note that creating an account isn't required to use AMP. It's just really useful for particularly for bookmarking content. So, okay, resources for educators and students. First of all, we do have a page set up for that. You can click to the more, go to getting started over here. You can see these are different sort of user personas or user profiles. We've got some for researchers, genealogists, state employees, things like that. But we also have one for educators and students. So you just click on that. You can bookmark this URL if you'd like. So these are a compilation of resources on the Arizona Memory Project that we think would be of particular use to educators and students. So we've got newspapers here, and all of these golden sections here are going to link to pages that have the content on them. So you can click here. This will take you to a page that has all the newspaper titles on it, including ones that have subjects in special community newspapers. We also have, a complete list of newspaper titles available in other forms. So we do have a lot of newspapers that aren't just on the Memory Project, but also in microfilm. So we have a list of that, how to make an appointment, things like that. So same idea for periodicals. Arizona Highways is one of them. Different periodicals like La Roca, the Indian Record, the Border, Builder and Contractor, those kinds of things. Research topics, I'll go into this a little bit more later in the presentation, but research topics are essentially curated materials that are all related to a same subject or same topic. And then other materials, kind of miscellaneous. We've got things over here related to new collections that are being added, and a link out to the state archives, which has content on the Memory Project, but this is how you can contact them for other materials that are not on the Memory Project. Okay, one thing to keep in mind as you're looking for items is that there are many item types and information types. So I'll go over what each of those things is. Included are some of them up here, but if you come over here and do a show all, these are all the different types of things that we have. So things in the Memory Project are sort of categorized by their item types. There's item types, which are individual items. So an audio file, a book, which would be a PDF. And then we also have what are called information types. And those are hubs for multiple items that are all related to the same same topic, same idea, same subject, same theme, stuff like that. So that's one way to sort of find some of that information. So if I click on any given one of these, for example, if I wanted to click on an image, it tells me how many there are across the whole site. Click on that. There's all my images. There are other options that you have here to filter, and this is true for any of the item types that you pick. Starts with has the following: does it have OCR? Is it tagged? And then here you can put in a custom date range. You do have to enter a full date range, but if you're interested in everything from the 1930s, you would put 0101 1930 to 12/31 1939, and that would give you the entire decade. But you can customize this. So if you were interested in one of these, say your students were doing something related to films shot in Arizona, they could check on this poster. You can see things like what it's linked back to, so you can see that's part of this collection. And you're gonna see some of this red stuff. Only I can see that just because I'm logged in as me as an administrator. But anything that's golden text or gray text or black text, you can see. So you can see that the metadata is over here. There's a description when the poster is created, what type it is, what collection it belongs to, what the rights statements are for it. We'll talk a little bit more about rights and using things that you find on the site. And again, all of these links are going to link to something that has the same value in it. So if I click here, if you're interested, okay, I'm interested in learning more about everything that's related to the city of Sedona. You can click on this and you can see that there are 1,366 other items where Sedona is in that same city field. So you can see that a lot of these other movie sets are here, but you also find things from different collections. So it kind of depends on how students are looking for things. If they really just wanted to see what was available in this collection, because they're really interested in just the movie parts, then they could come here and see that this is the name of the collection, and then all the items are right here. So that's one example of an item type. If we wanted to do an information type, which would be, we'll go to an event. Legislative symbols. Oh, I got the whole thing. Let's just start there. Get out of the numbers here. There we go. Okay, so they want to do the Bisbee deportation. So this is formatted as an event, and you can see that there are multiple information types and audio types all linked to this. So these come from a variety of collections. They're not necessarily all from the same collection. They're not going to always be the same item type. What links them together is that they're related to the deportation. So you can see that here's a lot of photos, there's a lot of documents, there's an audio file. Here's a collection that is specifically about the Bisbee deportation. Any people involved, transcripts, usually from oral histories, things like that. So this would be an information type where you've got, for example, an event that is related to the Bisbee deportation. One of the things that we've done too is for a lot of those information types, we've created a page for Arizona research topics. So if you've been on the Digital Public Library of America site, they've got primary source sets, very similar to that. The idea is this is related to an Arizona research topic is it's usually going to be a person, a place, or an event that's related to Arizona history. So for example, sometimes students will come to our site because they're looking for ideas on for National History Day. So next year's theme is turning points in history. So some students might come here and looking, trying to look for something that would be something that they could work into that theme. So they could go to the dams and say, oh, okay, turning point is when this dam was built because it did this for water management, or when this road was built, anything like that. So again, you could come, to any one of these places, or people or events. You can just go with the rivers. So here you can see these are all the individual rivers that are listed. Any collections that are related to it. I'm going to go ahead and hit Colorado River because it's got stuff in it. So, for example, if your students wanted to, if they're doing any kind of research related to the Colorado River, if there's anything in the curriculum where you're teaching about sort of, the drought issues or things like that are going on, then, they might come over here and, check out some of these photos, they're dated. And so if students wanted to find out, what did the Colorado River, look like, or what did Lake Mead look like, so many years ago in the 1980s or something, and they want to do a compare and contrast, they could do those kinds of things. So the research topics are really nice because it kind of compiles all, the information that's related to a particular topic together. All right. Here's okay. So that's kind of a general, kind of big picture overview of the kinds of things that are in. I'm going to get into a little bit about how you would kind of find or search for things in the memory site or the Arizona Memory Project site. So if you just wanted to browse, you can click the browse all over here. And again, filter by format. So, if you're looking for a book or city directory or collections or documents, you can kind of narrow it down. The other thing you can do is you can click on the little triangles over here, and then we'll break it down into sort of, these are additional metadata fields that will help you filter it even further. So for city directory, if you knew you were looking for a specific city or town, and that you're interested in Avondale, now instead of, if you click just city directory, you get 428 items, but since you want Avondale, now you can limit it just to 5, and you're not really looking for it. And this helps a lot because even though there's a starts with, these usually don't start with, say, Avondale, and a lot of them, Avondale may be included, but it's not the title of the directory, things like that. So so this is really useful for finding more specific place-based things. And so any of these that have a little triangle to the side is going to open up different metadata fields that will let you filter even more. So if I wanted to find a map specifically, the Colorado River Indian tribe, I can click on that. There's my set of maps that are related to that. So that's just if you're browsing, you're just kind of poking around, and you can turn these off, move them around, remove all filters, things like that. So you can kind of poke around. Other things you can do, I don't know. There we go. As I mentioned before, it starts with, so if you wanted to find, and this is again, all items, if you don't have anything clicked, you'll by default check everything. But right now we've got it just set the K, so that's all the K stuff. Has the following, we have a geo reference, is it OCR, what are the date ranges, things like that. So that's just kind of, if you're just kind of searching. So this is when you know what you want or have a general idea. So if you just do a basic search, and I'm just going to do Hoover Dam, throw in your search. Okay, 9,200 things. That's where these things come in handy again. So basically by default, if you don't click any of those other options, you're going to get everything in the site that it could possibly find Hoover Dam related to it. It's usually pretty good about finding good matches. But again, that's a lot of results, particularly, if the student isn't used to, there's probably not a project where you're going to be, needing 9,200 items. So, but if they know that they're looking for pictures or maps in newspapers or places and they're related to it, books about the Hoover Dam or the Hoover Dam, they can click on that. If you ever want to start over search, you can just hit reset. One of the things you can do is you can, I'll get to this in my collections part in individual items, but you can compare metadata. So these little icons in the corner, say if you wanted to compare this picture with this picture, you click compare, and it's going to give you the metadata. So you can say, oh, okay, this one's from, at some point between 1920 and 1939. This one's from 1935. It's a 9-second video, things like that. So it's a quick way to sort of compare things together. You can do 2 to 5 comparisons like that. I believe, yeah. Okay. So one thing you can do, you can download these results. Some of the items you're able to download, some of them you're not. You'll basically get a zip folder of all the ones that are available to download. You can check. All of these if you want to. It's not going to check 9,200 things. It's only going to check the first 24 items on the page. But just know that you can do that. Okay, so that's and you can also add search terms. So if you're like, oh, okay, I need to add something, and see if update your search. If you want to get more specific, you're like, okay, let's see, there we go. Now we can look for 9,200 to 2015 results by adding hobby county, because now you're telling it to get more specific with what exactly you're looking for. So there's that. That's a basic search, and you can always start over just by hitting that reset. For advanced search, you'd still run your regular search term format. If you already know what kind of format you want, you can just click over here and you can tell it in advance which ones to search. Because again, everything that's in the memory project is categorized by an item type or an information type. So you can choose any number of these that you want. You can skip some. You can do all of them. By default, it's going to do all of them. But if you want to just pick certain ones, then you can do that, even if you just want to pick one. So I'm just going to do that. Within data, this is telling it by default, it's going to search every metadata field and all the content that's text searchable. So it's going to search in, PDFs and books, and if it finds Hoover Dam anywhere in the text, it'll pick it up. If you click all fields, that means only metadata fields. So it's not going to check any OCR content. And then title only means it's only going to check the title field. So just do it for that, just to limit the amount of search results we get. So for here, I'm going to just do the 1930s. So now it's only going to search that date range based off the dates that have been entered into the metadata. And then all keywords, it's going to, this basically functions like it's going to look for Hoover and Dam anywhere in the metadata. Any keywords, it'll be Hoover or Dam. So you might get something that's something related to Hoover, but not Hoover Dam. You might get a different dam instead of Hoover Dam because it's looking for or. It's less specific. And an exact phrase match means it's going to look for exactly Hoover Dam. So we'll run a search like that. There we go, 9 things. Now instead of dealing with 9,200 things, because of the filters that you'd already told it that you wanted to only run based off those criteria, now you only end up with 9 things. The only issue with using that is it can get too specific. So you might accidentally be filtering out results that you do want. So you can kind of you can always go back, reset, try it with different parameters. Maybe expand the date range to include the 1940s as well, things like that. So it's something that you can play around with until you kind of get the results that you want. And the nice thing too is whenever you click on any one of these things, your metadata leaves a lot of breadcrumbs for you or your students to follow. So you can see that, oh, okay, this is part of the J.W. Hoover Lantern slide collection. It's linked to Place Hoover Dam. So if you knew that you wanted to learn more about the Hoover Dam specifically, but not just photos, come over, click over here. And now you can see that there's a lot of other things that are related. It's related to other Arizona dams. It's within Hobby County. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. It's related to the Boulder Dam Power Commission, things like that. So there's a lot of good information by clicking on these things that you may not know just by, you may have started your research, your query, thinking like, oh, okay, I'm just going to find some photos of the Hoover Dam. But then you might find yourself looking at all these other places because, that may not be where you started, but you might, pique your curiosity or, give you new ideas or different places to go with your research. So that would be how you do an advanced search. Okay, so now we're on a single item. I'll show you some of the tools that you can do. This one may not have downloading enabled. I'll check it. But one way to check, come over to the download icon. Okay, it's not. So if it's not enabled, so if downloading is disabled, this is what you'll see. You can get the metadata record. So everything over here, you'll be able to see, it'll grab all this stuff. Anything that was entered as metadata, you'll be able to do. If the file was able to be downloaded, you have a section over here that says download webmaster in its original file format. So this is JPEG, so you'd be able to download it there and then you can, work with it from there and use it however you need it to. So this is based off the preference of the contributing institution. So some institutions allow downloading and others don't. Usually what you want to do is go to the right statement section over here to kind of find out what you want to do or what you need to do in order to get a copy of it if you're not able to download it. So in this case, contact Arizona Historical Society. So that's one place to look as far as what you can do. The other thing you can do in terms of citing an item, so once you know you can use it, you can click on the citation button and it'll give you a citation that all you really need to do is just copy paste it or reformat it into whatever style guide is being used. So that's this is just an easy way to get the necessary components to make the citation. And if you're ever stuck or you don't know, it's like, well, this actually doesn't tell me a whole lot. Or I'm so confused, or I just want to make sure. You can always go to this email button here. So this fills out as me because I'm logged in as me. So whatever your login is, or even it's you don't need to be logged in to use this. It just won't. I think it lets you put in your name and email address here instead of auto-filling it if you're logged in. So basically, send us a message about this. What it'll do is when it comes to our end, it'll include a link that we can go and check this item. So that way, when you say, hey, can I use this image of Hoover Dam, we know exactly which one you're requesting with further information. So if you're ever in doubt about how to use an item or whether you can, or you want to get an original to download, get with us and we can get you in touch with the appropriate contact at the contributing institution, and we can help you figure out and get permissions for using whatever it is that you need. Okay, so we're gonna go back here. A couple of tips and tricks. I sort of mentioned this earlier, but pay attention to the golden links. These are all hyperlinks that go to all the things that are of the same. But yeah, so if you're interested in anything else that's related to aerial photography for the dam, I don't know how many search results. This is the only one, but a better example would be land environment and natural resources. So these are going to be all the other items. Yeah, there's going to be a ton of them. These are all the other items that have that in that same metadata field. So this would be a way to sort of broaden your search. You're like, Hoover Dam's a little bit too specific. I want to talk about other things. This is a way to sort of see all the other items in the site that are linked to that same thing. It's also useful, particularly the original format. So if you know that you want Hoover Dam images, not necessarily photographs, but other types of things, you can click over here and then find out, okay, here's all the other lantern slides. It's going to be all the lantern slides in the site, not just the ones of Hoover Dam, but if you're interested in finding everything in the same format in the site, you can click on that, and then that will take you to a page that has just those things. So it's filtering out everything that's not identified as a lantern slide in there. And again, if you wanted to stick with it, like, well, those lantern slides are nice, but I really only care about the Hoover Dam right now. Cool. Click over here, and then you'll get Hoover Dam, and then everything that's related to it, regardless of item type or information type in the show page. The other thing you can do, depending on what collection it is, some of them have custom search boxes like this. So usually for sizable collections, when we want to make sure that it'd be hard to navigate or browse to something because you kind of don't know what's there. There's something like 26,000 photos in this particular collection, so that's too many to sort of browse and go through. So on those pages, we added a custom search box. You don't have advanced search options. It's just going to do a basic search, but it'll probably at least get you the ballpark. So if I wanted to search for Hoover Dam things in this collection specifically, cool. Now I don't have to sift through 26,000 things. I know that I'm only dealing with 47. And again, any one of these is going to link back to Hoover Dam and what sub-collection it came from, who the creator was, what its subject is, black and white photographs, all that stuff. And if you're lucky, it'll highlight the text for you. So if you're looking for sometimes photos have enough captions or things like that. So that makes it a little easier to read those kinds of things. Okay, so that's kind of it. I know that was a little bit fast, but we just wanted to do a crash course, get you familiar with the site, show you some of the things it can do, what's inside the site. So there will be in the slides that are posted. Oh, I forgot to show you one thing. Bookmark stuff. Why you would want to create an account. So if you ever want to add something to your collection, you can just click over here, add to my collection. Cool. Added your collection, come over to my collection over here, and you'll see a bunch of other stuff that I have. So cool. There's the Boulder Dam in Mohave County. So by default, it's just going to create a running list of items that are over here. So as you add things, it'll just kind of keep stacking. If you want, you can create new collections. And so if a student wants to say, oh, okay, government history project or whatever, they can create that, and then they can assign anything that they want. Anything that's been bookmarked over here, they can add to their collection over here. And then, you can see I've got a bunch already set up for me. So students could do that. You could do that. It's a way to keep things organized for projects. And then you don't have to try and remember like, oh, I where did I find, what photo was that, or how did I find it? What search did I do? Things like that. You don't have to remember any of that. You can just bookmark it and it shows up straight over here. So yeah, the tutorials section of the site is where you'll find the slides for this. They're already there actually. You just come to the Arizona Member Project tutorials. This will be available, I think, in a follow-up that we send out, I think. But yeah, so you can see that Amplify Your Research sessions are here, and resources for teachers. So these are basically the slides that will give you a lot of the information that I have, but this way you can reference it and kind of follow along based on that. This also includes a flyer for the next 2 that we have scheduled for the rest of the year. The August Amplify research session will be about city directories, and the September one will be about maps. So there's a link to sign up for that in the slides, and I think you may have received the flyer already separately from the slides. If not, we can certainly set you up with one of those. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions, we're here to help answer them. Yeah, we had posted the chat check there. If you want to see previous Amplify sessions, yeah, that's how you would find it. Other AMP tutorials how to use the site are also posted. Yeah, the video, the recording of today's session will probably be uploaded, maybe this afternoon, but maybe tomorrow. The slides are already there, but the recording will be there later. And I think we have a survey link too that we can send out. Just let us know what you thought of the session. Was it the right length? Was it useful? Things like that. So this is our first year doing these. It's only the 3rd Amplify session we've done. And so, any feedback you can provide for how we can make them better. Should we just keep doing what we're doing, or, ideas for topics for next year, things like that. We're all ears for things like that. So yeah, I don't see any questions. So thanks everybody for joining us, and hope to see you at future Amplify research sessions. Yeah, have a good day, everybody. Take care. Thanks so much for stopping by.